Hello, I'm back. So, as you can tell by the title of the vlog, it's story time, racist ex-friends. So people who I don't talk to anymore, basically. And before I begin, when I tell the stories, I want the people that are in my life, basically. The stories are not about you, and you'll see it's not about you. It's those people are not in my life anymore, and thank God. And I tell this story because if you have a friend that is racist, you need to know when to just get out and not be there anymore. Because let me tell you, after you don't do like me, because after you are going to have resentment, and then you're going to tell yourself, I should have said that, why didn't I say that? And you're just gonna be angry at yourself, right? So the safest thing for me to do when that happens is to know if you want to stay with those kind of people, if they can change. If they cannot change, then get out. But you have to say something I didn't say, and what's done is done, right? So I'm going to be telling a few stories, a few things that happened to me in the past, and so I'm going to tell all the stories, and it's going to be, it's going to be like, gonna be like, whoa, you know, people are that way, people like that exist. So let's begin. So the first time I had a friend that was racist, me and my twin, we had a friend that was racist. Was he a friend? Yeah, he was a friend. It was in primary school. So you're gonna say primary school, I mean, ooh, I think it was 7 or 6, 7 or 8. Yeah, so you're gonna say primary school, I mean, come on, like, you guys were kids, and kids say the meanest things, you have to move on. But once you're gonna hear the story, you're gonna understand why I'm telling the story, basically. So, and I still remember a little bit. Well, not a little bit, I remember. So, we had a friend. He was this guy who was really cool, and no, he wasn't cool. He wasn't cool, but we would play with him. Like during recess in primary school, we would always play with him. He never invited us. He never invited us to his place. We know why, of course. But we did what kids do, kid stuff, and oh, we're innocent. And then one day, when we were playing with them, he just stopped, turned around, and said, "I like you guys. You're not like the other black people. You guys are more quiet, more calm. I like that." And whoop, we continued playing. And I remember just being confused with my twin brother. We were just like, what just happened? And I remember just looking at a black girl from afar, and then I was just like, oh, and it went so fast. But I remember after that event, me and my twin slowly stopped talking to him, because it just, you're 7. When at 7 you're uncomfortable about something. We're all uncomfortable, even no matter the age, right? But when it's those kind of attack, then you're just like, what just happened? Because the person is still nice to you, and you can't quite understand how somebody would say something so mean and straight after become very friendly. So I remember we just stopped talking to him as time went by, because me and my twin brother were just like, this is weird, like, why would you say that, right? So next story. As you can see, I'm going really fast, and also I will not be naming people because I don't think it's necessary. But I think you guys have to listen to the story, especially if you have a friend that is racist, right? I'm repeating myself, but yeah. So the next time where I had a racist friend, well, it was in CEGEP. So CEGEP in Quebec, Montreal, it's basically you do 2 years of CEGEP before going to university. It's how they do it in Quebec. Yeah, it's how they do it in Quebec, Canada. So yeah, so when I got to CJEP, I had made a group of friends separate. Like, I had like one group, and then yeah, I had another group, right? And I will talk about one particular group, and it was like, because I've always been around girls, so I've barely had friends that are guys, basically. So So yeah, so I was with those girls, and I remember throughout the 2 years in Egypt, like they never said anything that were unless they did, and it was very covert, and I didn't, catch on it. But I remember like they didn't say anything wrong. But I remember when we were at the last, I think it was the last year of CJEP, one of the girl invited me and the other group to a restaurant. So we went to a restaurant and we were eating and we were having so much fun. And then we were just telling jokes back and forth. It was really funny. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was really funny. And then the girl just like suddenly said a joke. It's dark. You only see eyes and teeth. Who are you looking at? And I was like, oh God. And I said, black people. And I was like, a black person. And I was just like, I told like, why would you say that? Like it's completely rude. And she's like, oh come on, calm down. You don't be angry. I said, well no. If I made if I made a racist joke about your race, your ethnicity, if I were to, I told her if I were to make a joke about Arabs, you wouldn't be. I don't think you'd be happy about it. And she's like, oh, calm down, don't worry. Like, it was just a joke. Let's move on. So then we moved on. Things went well. But the same girl, I don't remember if it was during the dinner, but at one point we were talking and then she said, you know what? Yeah, I think it was during the dinner. She said, you know what? Well done. Good on you. And I was like, why? I mean, you're not like other blacks who have big forehead. You have a small forehead. Good on you. And I was just like, what is this? What am I witnessing? What is this craziness that I'm witnessing right now? And I remember just saying nothing. Saying nothing. I was shocked. But again, I do think I should have said something, but I was just shocked and I didn't want to ruin the vibe for everybody else, so I just stayed quiet and went about the dinner and things just progressed. And then that girl, I mean, the group I'm with, we just slowly stopped talking. I don't think it was due to racism, but we all went our separate ways, so we just stopped talking. But boy, it was really aggressive and just mean, and it was just not warranted what she said. And there was another group, and those two girls, I was friend with them for the longest time. I stopped talking to them last year. But again, not because of the racism, but of just other things. I just said, oh, no, and I just went on Facebook and then erased, right? But yeah, so those two girls, I mean, again, super, when I met them, they were super friendly. We talked, we shared a lot of things together, and it was just pleasant, it was just nice. And I was like, I think I was 19, 20. But yeah, so it was really nice. Like nothing. They weren't really mean until they were mean. Okay, until they were mean. So uh, at one point, I was at. So we were about four. We were four, right? And there was like of the four, there was the two other girls I don't talk to, and there's only one I talk to, and we get along perfectly well and everything, right? But yeah, so at one point we were at was that her? Sorry, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I'm going to tell the story because I think, well, either way. So I was at my friend's place, and my friend's place, my friend's place, my friend had a boyfriend at that time. Well, not a, it's an ex, right? And we were talking about what was happening to the indigenous population in Canada, and I was telling them what's happening is unfair, and it's just not right. We have to find ways, and I don't know how we started talking about black people, but at some point she said, okay, so it wasn't that was the I think it was her roommate, but still it was another friend. I say, well, an acquaintance, like friends. I would see her from time to time, right? So she said, oh, you know what? Um, Black people are violent, you know. It's much easier talking to you, but in general, black people are violent. And I was like, what? What? And then and then my friend, her ex, then said, yeah, I agree. Black people tend to be very aggressive and very violent. And I was just like, oh, holy macaroni. But again, that roommate, I would talk to her still when I would, I had no choice. When I would go to my friend's place, I would talk to her and everything. So back to the two friends now, because I kind of mixed everything up. It'd be much easier if I could say the names, but I cannot say the names, just, out of respect. They didn't respect me, but it's just not necessary, right? So back to the two girls whom I don't talk to. I remember one day we were again talking about indigenous issues, and I remember just telling them that indigenous women in Canada are disappearing, and the government isn't doing anything. We're just having this discussion, and I was like talking and talking, and then I was saying we really have to take care of them. And then one of the girls said, she said, well, you know what? It's not my problem. It's not my problem. Like, are you really gonna defend people who drink and take drugs? And I was just like, wait, like, why would you say, like, I remember just like saying, like, why would you say that? Like, it was just, for me, it was just like, why are you even talking like that? It's like you're making a grand statement that all the indigenous population in Canada just drink and take drugs, And he said, you know what? It's not my fault, this is our land and our land only. If you don't like it, if they, no, she didn't say we don't like it. She just said, like, we had a war, we won the war, end of story. And I remember just being like, wow. And I just had to accept that. And then the other girl then said, but why do you want to defend people who drink and take drugs? And I remember just ending the conversation there because I was just, I told myself this, it's just unnecessary, and I just I don't want to entertain this kind of behavior. So I just stopped talking. I said, okay, I'm gonna let it go and just move on, right? And then one day she was talking about, how, Africans, she said something about Africans. I don't remember, but it was completely out of line, because I'm African, of course, I'm from Congo. But she said like things that were completely out of line. She was like, I was talking about the we were talking about the HIV epidemic, and then she said, well, Africans don't take it, like they're not careful, they don't want to put the condoms on, and I was like trying to I was trying to have a conversation, but she was just being very like aggressive and like a very judgmental, and basically talking like saying what they were doing was stupid and everything. It was just uncalled for. And I didn't say anything. I just like let it go. I just let it pass. And I was like, I don't want a drama. I just want to be friends with them. So I'm not going to create any problems, right? And then we moved on. And then those things had to be said. It had to be said because if I told them that is racist, um, I think I would have felt better with myself. But I didn't say anything, and then life went on. Like we just continued, right? And then those two girls, I just stopped talking to them last year. I just like erased them from my life last year, and I'm like, phew, good riddance, right? And then there was another girl, another girl who I was talking to, and that is when I told myself, I don't need to, I don't need to put myself in that kind of situation because it's just not healthy for me. So she was looking for a house, and she was looking for a new apartment. I mean, she was looking for a new apartment, and then she told me, my brother was there also. I think my brother was there. I don't remember, but yeah. So she was. Let's just say it was me and her, right? We were talking, and then she said, I'm looking for new apartments, but it's difficult because I don't want to go to an apartment where there's lots of immigrants because they tend to smell, and the food that they eat is always like, doesn't smell too good. I prefer being in an apartment where there's mostly Canadians, so I know it won't smell. And I was just like, I was like, why me? Why am I friends with racist people, And I remember confronting her because, we always say, call them out and hope they will change. I mean, I called her out and she didn't change. When I told her what you said was racist, she got extremely defensive. She was like, if you can't take, if I'm gonna say things I'm gonna say, that's just the way I am. If you don't like it, then move on, but you can't get angry at every single things. And I'm just like, what? And then she just stopped talking to me. She totally stopped talking to me. And yeah, yeah, and no, it's not the last thing because in university, I had a group of uh, of friends. I've got so many stories, guys. Like so I'm like, why did I put myself in this kind of situation? But it has to be said. So I had a group of friends, and I remember they were just them. Their racism was, again, it wasn't that. It was, it was. I wouldn't say. I thought it was covert, but it's not really covert because they were just like full on sometimes, and sometimes it was just like they would say thing, and I was like, but why are we talking about it? It's like so unnecessary, right? So just gonna make the story a little short because I'm telling lots of stories, and I need to make my point. Um, so they would always like say things like, I wouldn't date black people because I find them very ugly, and it's my tastes, if I don't want to date a black person. I was like, okay, and what, you want me to grovel at your feet? And they were just like, yeah, I don't like black girls, and they're just not pretty. I don't like black guys because I just don't date black people, and I remember at one point we were at a bar, because at the university I went to, there was like a little bar area. I would always say, why would they put a bar at university? But oh, oh well. So there was like a bar, and then we went there and we were, we were having fun. Then at some point there was two of the guys who were just like talking to my brother and I, and we're just like saying, I don't date black people, and if I don't want to date black people, it's my right. I'm not racist because I don't want to date black people. And we're just like, but why are we talking about this? Like, why are we talking about this? And we're just like, bam, 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 and I was just like, ugh, ugh, and we didn't say anything. We just stood quiet. Well, we kind of defended ourselves, but we were kind of outnumbered because there was a group of, you know, yeah. So it was just a group, right? So we just stay quiet, and we just like, okay, fine. So we just stopped talking about it. But that group, they were just so problematic. Like, always the need to remind that black was ugly when we were around or when I was around, and like there was like the girl who I told you, who was like the girl who said that she was looking for an apartment, and those she didn't want to find an apartment full of immigrants because that would mean it would smell bad. She was in that group, and she had another friend who changed. She changed her way of thinking after, but she was also participating in that kind of behavior, right? She'd always she would say like very kindly or very nicely like, "Oh, I don't date black people," and she would agree with them, right? But she like changed her way of thinking. So, but I stopped talking to her because of other things, right? So, more of the story. know when to get out. Because as you can tell, I have so many stories and I let myself be humiliated because I wanted friends. There are so many friends, people. There are so many good people. When you're faced with that kind of verbal violence, do not stay. Run away, get out. You don't need that, right? So yeah, this is my story time. I think I was a bit all over the place, but I think I made a point. So I thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day, evening, or morning, wherever you are, whatever time you're watching this vlog. So this is it. Thank you guys, and have a wonderful day. Bye.